How to perform art with a football. Here are the guys who turn dribbling and controlling the ball into art. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Ronaldo, also known as El Fenomeno, perhaps the man who paved the way for this list. Ronaldo achieved feats that seemed impossible before. Nowadays, he is referred to as El Fenomeno or the phenomenon, a term often used for social media stars. This is because, during his time, players were mostly of a single type, speedy wingers who could deliver good crosses from the right and left, tall and strong center backs, attacking players who partnered as pivot and sprinter forwards. Ronaldo was the first representative of the versatile, full-package, multifunctional player profile that we see a lot of today. He might not be remembered solely for his goal-scoring ability, unique dribbling skills, and ball control, but I still include him in this list. You will find elements of everyone on this list in his style because, as mentioned earlier, he was the pioneer of this craft. His signature move, which also led to the major injury he suffered, was a defining moment in his career. Next up is Ronaldinho. Perhaps we've witnessed players with bigger careers or greater talent, but none were as flamboyant as Ronaldinho. It's as if what he played was a mix of football and samba. Whether his body was turned sideways at a 45-degree angle or not, he could effortlessly move the ball forward, adding a bit of his own magic to assists, goals, dribbles, or whatever he did, a true superstar. He had many signature moves, but undoubtedly the most well-known is the flip-flap or the snake move. Even in console games, he had a unique dribbling style and tricks, and his free kicks and penalty shots were also in his distinctive fashion, making him arguably the best of his time. Some even consider him the best of all time. He came, saw, conquered, and then it seemed like he decided not to be as good as before. It's as if he got bored after conquering everything. Ricardo Isaacson dos Santos Leite, or simply Kaka Leite. Few players have ever dominated the ball like him. Kaka had a very unique style. It seemed like he had opened up the ball from his foot so much that it looked like he might lose control at any moment, but he would regain control as if he had the ball tied to his foot with a string. Before his injury, Kaka was an incredibly fast player. When dribbling the ball, he moved with such speed that opponents not only hesitated to make a move to take the ball but even dared not to touch Kaka. Stealing the ball from Kaka was like trying to catch a small fish with your hands in the water. No matter how quickly you moved, you couldn't be faster than him. He would skillfully and gracefully slip away from his opponents. He was the greatest white Brazilian we've seen since Zico. Franck Ribéry, the French player. In his early years, he earned the nickname Ferrari. He was truly a speedy guy, deserving of this nickname. His ability to slow down as if he was about to cut his dribble and then suddenly accelerate at full speed left opponents bewildered. Ribéry could reach his top speed in a very short time, essentially shifting gears from 1 to 5. In other words, he had no set patterns or habits. He could easily make a dribble with his back to the sideline or cut through the middle. That's why Ribéry is a player who can play anywhere in the attacking zone, with a very high level of game intelligence and awareness. The current GOAT, as they say, Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe's long legs and incredible speed would probably place him in the elite player category even if he were slightly less talented. The Frenchman is so fast that he's here one moment and gone the next. As if that weren't enough, he has an unlimited repertoire of dribbles. He dances with the ball, especially when playing near the right touchline. I liken Mbappe's signature move to the famous crossover by Allen Iverson in basketball. He pretends to go left, then suddenly shifts to the right. Once he executes this deception, he accelerates from the right touchline to the goal with such momentum that it becomes impossible to catch him. Attempting to defend against him one-on-one is like committing suicide. Apart from hoping he passes the ball to a less talented teammate as soon as possible, there's nothing else you can do. If you find yourself one-on-one with Mbappe, you might end up humiliated, concede a penalty, or even reduce your team to 10 players. Douglas Costa is a true ball artist. Costa becomes a deadly weapon when he finds a bit of open space, but he's no slouch in tight areas either. His first touch is impeccable. Often, he decides what to do before the ball even reaches his foot, and you find yourself falling victim to his first feint. He is incredibly fast, and when he dribbles the ball at such speed, intervening becomes extremely challenging. He is one of the best practitioners of the flap move. Please don't interpret my analogy as racism. I'm using this term for comparison purposes only. Costa is as agile as a monkey, an athletic player. He advances with the ball, moving like a snake. From now on, the first thing you should pay attention to while watching him is when Douglas Costa slows down with the ball. It's a sign that an incredible feint is about to come from behind. Even when you think he's about to release the ball from his foot, Costa is actually planning his next move. Anthony Martial. Perhaps many wouldn't have considered him for this list, but in my subjectively crafted lineup, he's a must for me. He never became as big a star as the other players on this list. However, when it comes to dribbling, Martial is the first name that comes to my mind. It's like he came into the world with a unique style specifically to beat opponents. He's obsessed with footwork, and his football equivalent to the right-left combination in boxing. He might be a quick player, but even if he's slow, it doesn't matter because he effortlessly bypasses opponents while walking. Martial is one of the best in the world at utilizing the left touchline. If you get close enough for him to pass you, he'll bewilder you. Perhaps the only way to defend against him, given his tendency for mistakes, is to leave him to his own devices. Unfortunately, Martial has ruined his career. Once valued at €70 million, he is currently worth €15 million. Paulo Dybala, also known as the Golden Boy. Dybala possesses a distinctive dribbling style. Most dribblers prefer playing with their back to the touchline since even if the opponent intervenes, the ball goes out of play and possession is retained. Unlike his counterparts, Dybala doesn't rely heavily on touchlines. Due to both the position he plays and his goal-oriented playing style, he excels at penetrating through the center. His proficiency in this area is further highlighted by his success against the rigid defenses of the Italian league. His favorite trick involves threading the ball through the legs of his opponents. Despite not appearing particularly strong, Dybala has an exceptional body balance, allowing him to continue dribbling with opponents pressed against his hips and back. Despite taking hits and challenges, he doesn't easily fall to the ground. Instantly shrinking in size when he receives the ball, he makes it difficult for defenders to intervene. Pay close attention to the angle of his body to the ground when dribbling. The best course of action is to stop him with a foul before he gets too close to the danger zone. Arjen Robben, despite suffering from numerous injuries, has always managed to keep his career alive. The Dutch star predominantly uses the right wing and has an interesting style. He dribbles the ball by poking it with the outside of his left foot. His signature moves include cutting inside from the right and finishing with his left foot into the far corner. However, even though his intentions are quite apparent, stopping Robben is not that easy because he has specialized in this aspect. Another notable feature is his ability to maintain speed while dribbling, never slowing down even when about to make a feint, keeping his moves unpredictable. Facing Robben is almost impossible. He only needs a tiny gap to unleash his signature shot. The early retiree, Eden Hazard. Belgium's first notable feature is not so much about his feet but the movement of his body. Hazard, with a constant advantage in every move, stays one step ahead of his opponent. How? He can quickly change the angle and position of his body to receive the ball. Predicting when and what he will do is very difficult. His focus isn't on the ball, he's constantly scanning for the tiniest gap among his opponents. Shaping his body to navigate through that space is his greatest skill. The expression "to go through the opponent" seems to have been coined for Hazard, perhaps the best in the world at ball retention. When he doesn't want to let go, it's as if the ball on the field belongs solely to Hazard. All you can do is hope he releases the ball from his foot as soon as possible. If only he hadn't suffered so many injuries, and if only his career didn't end so early. Neymar da Silva Santos, a true magician. There's no limit to what he can do with a football. The biggest mistake is allowing Neymar to face our goal while the ball is at his feet. Neymar has such an athletic and elastic body structure that he can escape not only from opponents but often from their foul attempts as well. Making a foul on him might not be a solution, as you might understand. Brazil's demeanor on the field seems like he's there to have fun. However, his sense of fun can be a bit ruthless. After a while, it can become annoying and even humiliating for opponents. Neymar is one of the few players in the world without a fixed position. He's not a classic number 10, nor is he a winger. He's simply an attacking player. To get the maximum output from him, you have to assign a specific role and somewhat constrain him. If you let him loose, Neymar will naturally go where he feels most comfortable. After all, you don't tell a magician how to perform his tricks. He got bored very early. He no longer wanted to play football and chose to end his career on his own terms. In my opinion, the true GOAT, Lionel Andres Messi. The first thing I have to mention about his style is how he keeps the ball only as far away from his foot as he can touch. Messi is not someone who opens up space and then sprints with the ball. He is an artist who touches the ball briefly but with great precision, treating it like an instrument. He has broken many ankles and caused many backs to ache until today. But, in my opinion, it's not his talent, speed, or vision that defines Messi. What makes Messi, Messi, is his almost flawless decision-making. There is no other player as talented who also understands the value of each ball so well, never wasting a single touch. It's like his brain is a computer program always calculating the highest probability. Describing Messi in just 1 to 2 minutes is not enough, and if I say I sometimes get bored watching him, you might understand what I mean. Messi, with his ability to make everything look so easy, and making everyone feel like they're 8 to 9 years old when they're against him, is the biggest unfair advantage in the world of football. He's getting older now, as every beautiful thing has its end.